let's look at Monero. First off, read this disclaimer carefully and like, sub, share, and comment to gain full access. Okay, we are in the crypto space. Let's first get, a big picture of the market. So here you can see that there is some rotation as far as the sectors go. When we look at the megatrends, very big outperformance. But there are numerous of these megatrends that are up a lot. Hence, I do expect some pullbacks in some of them, because the valuations are simply a bit too lofty. Okay. We do have some cryptos from the data source I use, Refinitiv. We do not have Monero here, but we can analyze Monero nonetheless. Here is the seasonality of the pair, XMR/US dollar. You can see that December, based on the years we have data on, it is one of the strongest months for Monero. Okay, so that's bullish. If you look here at, well, what is the news here? So US jobless claims leap to highest since September as COVID wave bites. Yeah. Well, let's first look at the website for Monero. So the thing about Monero is that, it is a very private digital currency. So Monero is cash for a connected world. It's fast, private, and secure. With Monero, you are your own bank. You can spend safely knowing that others cannot see your balances or track your activity. So this is one of the big, pros about Monero. It is also, one of the downsides, in the sense that if the powers that be really were to start to crack down hard on cryptocurrencies, I think that Monero would be like the first candidate. Because you could make, a case that, of course, there are people who are using, Monero very legitimately, but obviously the way the Monero is designed, it is also beneficial for people who want to avoid paying taxes and, do other stuff. Okay. So that's a risk factor beyond, anything we see here in the charts and the seasonality. So this is the total history we have for Monero. The performance is 45,000% gain. That's pretty good. But we had, the big bull market here in 2018, then a total crash. After the crash, we do have some interesting patterns. You could make a strong case that this is a rounding bottom pattern. It is a bit messy, but it does have the, the essence of the rounding bottom. We have broken out about some key resistance levels. And what I like about Monero is that it is rallying in a more sustainable manner than what we saw with Bitcoin. So let's just look at Bitcoin here. Well, maybe we can do it as like a comparison in the background. Let's do it like that. So Bitcoin index. Yeah, let's take this one. Okay. So here you can see, the big difference. So Bitcoin, it had this euphoric rally, which I was just not a fan of that, because the history of Bitcoin is that in very large number of cases, these euphoric rallies, they have a very distorting effect on the psychology of the market, and it is usually detrimental. I don't like it. I don't have a problem with us going up, but we need to do it in a more sustainable way. And this is why I like Monero. It is doing it far more rationally. Let's get, the percentages back. This is sustainable, a very nice rally. I like it. This is how you do it. It's very tactical, measured. We are above this key resistance level back here. That's good. There are certainly some other horizontal levels for us to clear, even though we are above all the moving averages. But yeah, this is nice. You can see here that there's a minus 20% correlation with S&P 500. If you go here to the daily data points, like that, here you can see, that rounding bottom pattern in much more detail. So yeah, a very nice rally. Pullback, a bit of a pullback, and then you continue. So all in all, this is, good, strong rally. It is far more sustainable than what we saw with Bitcoin. You can see the RSI here. If you look at the long-term history, it goes up and down, up and down. So it's very common for Monero to have a bit of a pullback every now and then. You could make the case that there is a bearish divergence between price here and the RSI. We would ideally want to see a a bit more strength here in the RSI, but it's also important to look at the context. Given that we have seen some significant weakness in multiple cryptocurrencies that were very euphoric, that kind of changes how we interpret it. Because in that sense, it is sort of a good news to see that the recent rallies have been more cautiously optimistic, because we do not want to see euphoria in the crypto market. It's not good. For this space to become mature and serious and become widely adopted, it needs to act like normal securities. It goes up, it goes down in a normal way. The era of these kinds of rallies, like explosive rally, total crash, explosive rally, total crash, explosive rally, total crash, this will never attract the big institutional investors that we need for Monero and other cryptocurrencies to really become mainstream. This is how you do it. So I really like what's happening here. Of course, that doesn't mean that there's not going to be pullbacks. That is to be expected. The history of Monero is certainly full of some pullbacks. But the overall picture here is decidedly bullish. You see also, the seasonality was good here for December. When we look at the shorter time frame here, we have a 76% positive correlation with S&P 500. But if you look here, we have had a very low correlation back here, minus 72%. Hence, the current correlation is actually on the higher end of the range. If you look at it historically. Hence, we could assume that there's going to be some mean reversion on the correlation, where it start to go, downwards. Okay. Hence, to sum up my take here on Monero. Long term, I am bullish, but I have to say that I am skeptically, bullish. The reason why I say skeptically is because the cryptocurrencies, the entire landscape, it is very disruptive, but it's not really a threat to the forex market yet. The total market cap of the crypto market is minuscule. When it becomes bigger, when it becomes a real threat, then I do think that the sentiment will change. That's why I think it is so important that by the time the cryptos become big, really big, a real alternative to forex, it is very important that it is used by a broad range of participants. Especially, we do actually want the institutions to get into the crypto space, because that makes it far more difficult for the forex powers to crack down on the cryptos, because there simply is too many people supporting it. As long as the crypto market is for just pure speculation and the get-rich quick schemes, then it's not going to be serious, and it's going to be much easier for different kinds of powers to crack down. Hence, that's why I'm such a big advocate of the tactical, strategic side of investing. That's why when I look at the chart, I don't simply be like, oh, up, down, or sideways. I look at it also like a game of chess, because there's a constant battle between the bulls and the bears. And if the bulls, as an example, get too cocky, it makes it actually easier for the bears to fight back, because that's the same thing with chess. When you get too cocky, you might make some wild move that is very ballsy, but it could backfire in a spectacular way and can completely flip the board. Okay, so be careful in this market. Very exciting times for Monero, and yeah.